Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Asea Asia team training on a Sunday night. I know it's Sunday and it's 9 p.m. Over here where I am, it's raining cats and dogs outside. In fact, because I've muted the audio, you can't really hear the thunder outside. But if this cuts off, we will reconvene at another time. Hopefully the internet stays connected even though we are having a thunderstorm over here. Now, so we're going to go through a bit of a technical training tonight. Some of these questions have been frequently asked questions over the past 2 weeks by new associates. So we hope to kind of put out some of this training for everyone so that you can kind of watch it again and again to learn about them. And at the same time, because we're going to put this out as a recording, what you can do is next time when you get a question, similar question from one of your team members, a new team member, just send them the video. Just say, please go and watch this video. So with that out of the way, I'm going to get started. So welcome to tonight's Asea technical training. So once again, congratulations, every one of you who have decided to embark on this Asea journey. You are actually an entrepreneur. Okay, you're actually an entrepreneur. Okay, whether you feel it or not, you are actually an entrepreneur. So as an entrepreneur, it means that you are a risk taker and you are also a problem solver. In fact, one of my favorite definitions that I've heard over the years about what does it mean to be an entrepreneur, it literally means that someone who is able to solve problems. Okay, if the more problems you can solve, the more problems of other people you can solve, the better and more successful you are going to be as an entrepreneur. Now, those are some of the mindsets that I would like to encourage you to have as we proceed on in our Asea journey. Okay. So what is a problem solver? A problem solver means and implies that you are committed to finding answers. Okay, that you are committed to finding answers. And that is actually one of the things I would encourage you to try and put yourself into, a frame of mind that you should always put yourself into. So how can I find answers? How can I find answers? And don't be too quick to always connect with ask somebody in your upline team to ask them for answers, but try and see whether you can find the answers, because the more you exercise this muscle, and it is a muscle, of finding answers, the better you are going to be to grow personally. And when that happens, congratulations, you're going to be a much, much better entrepreneur. So if you aspire and want to be a top leader or to grow a substantive team in this business, then I can encourage you to adopt this mentality. Find answers for yourself first before you even start asking other people, okay? And when you find answers, you are literally trying to find resources, and therefore you leverage on those resources. So tonight's training in a way is kind of like a resource, and also at the same time something that you can leverage on. So if the team has regular team meetings like this, please always leverage on them. Please always leverage on them. Now I'm going to start with corporate resources, because those are the things that every one of us has. Okay, so let's talk about some of the corporate resources that you have first. Okay, so the very first thing that all of us should be very familiar with is our virtual back office. And once you go into your virtual back office, you should find a tab that says resources. And resources, you drop down, you'll see a lot of different menu items. But the most important one, or probably one of the ones that you should always look into, is actually your library. Okay, so you should always click on the library. And when you click on library, okay, you should be able to see this other page here. Okay, and this other page, of course, if you are from Singapore, by default, you have a Singapore account, it will default to the Singapore market, and the language will be English, for example. But let's say if you're in Thailand, or if you're in Malaysia, or if you're in any other country, because we are in 35 countries, right? It will default to the country that you are in, and it will also default to the language that normally you are in. Now, having said that, please explore the library, because the library, it doesn't mean that because you're from Singapore or you're from Malaysia or you're from Thailand, you are stuck with the library here. More often than not, what I normally do is I will actually drop down the menu over there as market, and I will go to the US libraries and take a look, because the US library is usually the most complete and usually has the newest and fastest stuff. Okay, so all the product materials, the product brochures, the new products and so on, typically they are always placed, the PDFs and all that are placed in those libraries first. So please drop down whenever you go into here, drop down and go and visit the other libraries. Or for that matter, another way is that sometimes, let's say you're looking for Chinese Chinese materials, Chinese speaking audience, right? So the best places to look for in the library for these materials from corporate is actually to drop down and look for Hong Kong or Taiwan, and you will be able to find some Chinese materials that are put out by corporate. Okay, so please don't forget this important resource, and this is probably one of the most key ones for you. For example, your compensation plan and all those things should be all inside here for your relevant markets. So drop down, select the market, and you'll be able to choose and change the market. Okay, another important resource that you should know about, okay, is our YouTube channel by Asea Corporate. Asea Global USA. So go to YouTube and look at Asea Global USA, and please subscribe to their videos, because when almost on a weekly basis, they do come out with interviews and corporate videos, etc., that is useful and relevant to you. So keep yourself abreast by subscribing to the official Asea Global channel. Okay, that is very, very important. Now, another important resource for you to find answers to is this website that I love. It's called aseascience.com. Okay, aseascience.com. Very easy to remember. Go in, familiarize yourself with the articles that are inside there. There's also a search function. You can search for example, peer review, because sometimes when you talk to certain medical professionals, they will ask you for, are there any peer review articles? Now, not that we want to always supply them with peer review, but that we do have certain peer review articles done for our products and our science. So just be very familiar with aseascience.com and find the materials from there. And of course, please feel free to send them the whole website. Let them go and explore, because those are the things that you can literally, you can find a lot of interesting materials inside there. So Asea Corporate has compiled all these materials for you. Leverage on them. Find your answers from there. Okay. Now, so that was corporate resources, right? So as an entrepreneur, please know those resources very well and then leverage on them. Now, then the next part I'm going to talk about is the global team resources. Now, global team resources. Now, because we are growing and we do have a global team and a global leaders, so there are certain resources that are available to everyone. Okay. So for example, the most important one that you all should know about is this website called Asea Healthy Self. It's a private Facebook group. You cannot find it on your own. You have to be invited into the group. So please check with your working sponsor or your working upline leaders if you're not already inside. Because if you try to find it, you can find some, but those that you can find on your own, those are not the official ones. The current, as of now in 2020, early part of 2020, the Asea Healthy Self group has already about 120 something thousand members inside. So there are some copycat groups out there that are not by the team resource, and they have like much fewer people. So be very, very careful when you add yourself to those groups. Okay, so ask your working sponsor or your working upline to add you to this group, and once you're added, you can add other people into the group. Okay, so please remember, Asea Healthy Self is a private Facebook group. The next resource is Asea Wealthy Self. This one is about the success stories related to people who had to leverage on Asea as a business opportunity and how that turned their lives around. Again, this is a private group. Please ask to be added. Okay. Another very, very useful resource is this one, which is Asea Healthy Pets. Okay, this is literally for pets, for cats, for dogs, for parakeets, for all these amazing cute little animals, or some can be huge animals because some people have horses. And so, and again, another very useful resource, because when your friends want to know about Asea, you add in Healthy Self, some are admittedly still very skeptical. What you can do is literally send them to this site, because you tell them, look, if it's a pet, if it's an animal, if it's a dog or cat or a rabbit, there is no such thing as a placebo effect, because they have absolutely no idea what you are giving them. So they will not be psychologically induced to have turnarounds. So there's no way they can do that. but instead they just get better because the product works. So another very useful resource, so please make use of that. Okay, so Asea Healthy Pets. And last but not least, this is the Asea United page. Asea United is more a group, is more of a training for associates more than anything else. So if you're not already inside, again, please ask to be added in, because once you're inside, you will notice that a lot of the global leaders will place or put or post useful resources about training, about how to do the business, tips and tricks and so on onto this group, and you can learn from there. So this is more for like you to learn some small little chunks of training as and when you would like to. Okay, so this is a Asea United group. There's some other groups, but I'm not going to go through all of them in detail. Please check with your working sponsor, your team leaders. They would be able to provide you with some of the resources, maybe even a list of PDF. I've created a PDF for my team, so please look out for them if you need them. Okay, now I'm just going to go through a quick live Facebook demo for this group so that you kind of know what you can do inside the groups. Okay, so I'm going to stop share of this site here, and I'm going to share the website. Hang on. Okay. Okay, so this is the Asea Healthy Self. Okay, this is the Asea Healthy Self group. And let me just quickly double check. There are almost, wow, you see, 100 over 1,000 people already members inside. And again, remember, it's a private group. You can't get in unless you're invited in. So there are literally thousands and thousands of testimonies by people that are posting inside. Now, I really like this group because people kind of feel that it's more authentic because they can literally see the person's name is there. And sometimes when your friends are kind of skeptical, they kind of also message to these people directly. So you can do stuff like that. Now, this is on the desktop, obviously, but you can also access it on your mobile. On your mobile and your desktop, it's a bit different. So just explore around. This is not a computer class, so I'm not going to talk about the computer part of the training, right? But know that you can search. So for example, you search this group, and typically searching for disease names won't really turn up the ones that you want. So again, don't search for disease names. What I normally would do is, for example, if I know that somebody has a challenge in the liver, somebody has a challenge with the head or the brain, I will search for those generic body parts. So if let's say it's just liver, I will just literally search for liver. Okay. Click return. And it will surface all these testimonies that somehow or rather has some connection with liver. Then of course you have to do a bit of work, go through some of these testimonies, read some of them, and you'll be surprised. You learn about new testimonies that you may not have seen before, right? So go through them, and when you find something that is relevant to a friend, okay, what you do is you then comment and tag them. Okay, and comment and tag them. Now, of course, before you can even do that, you need to add them in as a member first. So please add them in as a member. Okay, just explore the part where you can add people in as a member. And of course, before adding them in as a member, do seek permission first. Okay, ask them and tell them, look, let's say your friend is John. John, I'm going to add you onto this Facebook group because you will learn a lot more about what I've been talking to you about. And then he said, okay, so tell him to watch out for an invitation to this group. Okay, then you add him in. And then when you find, once he's accepted the invitation, when you find something that's relevant to him, you can tag and comment on the specific post so that he can see it. Okay. Now, the moment he adds and accepts the invitation, what happens is that on his timeline, whenever he scrolls on Facebook, occasionally, once in a while, it will surface Healthy Self groups testimonies, new ones. So he kind of gets, he gets reminded about this thing called Asea again and again. So very, very important and very important tactic you can use. Okay, so this is the Healthy Self one. I'm going to quickly show you the Healthy Pets. Okay, this one, same thing, same concept. Just go and search for things you want. And then Asea United. So again, like I said, Asea United is a little bit different. It's more for associates. You wouldn't want to add your friends inside here because they wouldn't understand it. Or what I mean by you want to add your prospect in. Okay. Now, so here you notice that there are posts from the leaders about training. So please do go through these places and then look out for some of the things that you want to learn about. Okay. So that is the live demo for Facebook.
BK, hi.
Yes.
BK,
Yeah.
sorry. Just want to clarify. If let's say you have invited the prospect, but they haven't accepted the invitation, and you kind of tag them on a specific post, will they be able to see it?
No, they won't be able to see it.
Okay.
So what you do is just send them a reminder and say, hey, I've added you to this group, and you can actually send them using a link, because once they have been invited, they can find it again. So that would be a good way. Okay, so just do that.
Thanks.
Okay, next part about resources is team resources. Now, because this Sunday night training for the Asia Asea teams, there are other teams that are like, teams from other leaders. So I have to be a bit more, we have to be more sensitive to everyone. So for team resources, please check with your own working uplines or sponsors. They will know how to direct you, because all of us might have certain resources that are unique to our own teams that we have, and then please know that they always have this. Like for example, I have my own website, I have my own resource for my team, and they can always access those things. So just check with your own leaders, and they will be able to guide you. But always know that there will always be some form of team resources or another. Okay, so that's quite important for you. So do check with your working sponsors. Now, the other thing is, I would like to highlight from about all these things about resources is that please learn to share from legitimate sources. Please learn to share from legitimate sources. For example, anything from Asea corporate, anything from the Asea YouTube websites, you can share easily, not a problem. Okay, that's perfectly fine. From the Healthy Self group, I strongly discourage everyone from taking screenshots and then sending to friends, because the whole reason why it's a private group is because you want to protect the privacy of the group, and at the same time you want to be highly compliant. So learn to do it the right way by inviting your friends to join the group and then tagging them inside the group. Okay, because some of these testimonies that have been shared inside, two reasons for it. Personally, for me, there are two things I will watch out for. Number one, some of them may not be 100% compliant. And when you send it out by a screenshot, it might go into the hands of people that are not too happy about what you just said about something. And then they complain about you, they complain about a company, and all of us lose access to a wonderful company and a wonderful product. So please be very careful about that. Okay. And of course, the second reason is that, but I personally feel that when people share their stories inside Asea Healthy Self, they kind of share under the assumption and understanding that this is a private group. Okay, and my story is not going to be shared everywhere on the internet, right? It is kind of an invasion of privacy if you just share their stories without asking them for permission, right? So do the right way. They're happy to share inside the group. So please add your friends into the group and then tag them in the groups. I think that is the much, much more professional way of doing things. So I would strongly encourage all of you to do that. Now, having said that, this is your business. I would encourage you to do that, but you have to make your own judgment call. But I would do it myself, and that's how I would tell my team as well. And I would strongly think that that's a good way to do things. So do share in a compliant manner. Okay. So sorry, one last thing before that. So about compliance, when you share, another thing is that when we share things from other YouTube channels, okay, also be very careful, because other YouTube channels may not be compliant. They may have a lot of videos that are not properly it's not compliant in that sense. And also, of course, a lot of times when you share thing that you just find on YouTube, also notice that some of them would have links or information or instruction for them to contact that person who has created that video. So when you share from YouTube, either share from sources that you are trusting, for example, Asea Corporate directly, or your own team resource that you know is safe and compliant. Share from those things. Just don't Google and find a YouTube video from anywhere and share them in that manner. So that is at least what I would do. Okay. So with that, I end the first part, which is about team resources and